Happy New Year, Marvelites, and welcome back. It's the first Marvel movie news of the year, and oh boy, there's so much news to talk about. We're going to break down that new Mutants trailer and just go to town on that, and we're going to try to run through all the stories we missed while we were off the air. Let's get started on today's Marvel movie news.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Good afternoon to you, our merry Marvelites. Welcome back. How are y'all doing? Happy New Year, guys.
Happy friggin' 2020.
That's right.
It's so weird.
I know.
It's so weird.
I know. You guys, time is
more
just
numbers.
a constraint that we made up.
I want to talk about this in a future show, but welcome to the year of Iron Man 2020, a beloved character from the mid-'80s.
That's a series coming out from Dan Slott this year, right?
It makes sense.
Has it started yet?
No,
I haven't read
but
it.
he was introduced in a Machine Man limited series. We'll talk about him in the future. I love Iron Man 2020.
This is how weird it is that it's 2020.
Yeah.
There are comic books set in the future that are now.
Exactly.
Movies, too. Like,
Future is now.
It's insane.
I've been dealing with the movies one. It's like, because they don't generally, it's not like the year that they put on things as much. Like,
No,
we're past Blade Runner future.
Last year was Blade Runner.
But like,
there was
absolutely.
Blade Runner.
Iron Man 2020 was they're like, that's too far in the future.
So far
Like,
in the future.
it can be anything. Imagine when we get to 2099.
Oh, man. I'll be dead.
Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know.
You'll
Assuming we haven't
be wrong.
been taken
We'll
over
see.
by a race of super atomic monkeys
I hope.
by then.
I hope we have. All hail
and
the
even
space
then,
monkeys.
I mean, look, Spider Monkey Man will probably
Hit
be
Monkey?
going. But
Hit
I'm just
Monkey?
saying, no, Spider Monkey
Oh,
Man. I'm
Spider
saying
Monkey
because
Man.
they're going to have to rebrand everything
Oh, boy.
in 2099.
Spider Monkey
I'm just saying
Man.
it'll be interesting when they have to do the 2099 universe.
Yeah.
But it's real. Anyway, hey guys, welcome back to Marvel Movie News. I'm Zach Wilson. Xia Anderson's here. Christian
that's
Bladt
me.
is
Hi.
here.
Hey.
I'm excited. There's so much Marvel to talk about today. I thought for an experimental treat, I would try to rattle off all of the news that we have in one breath.
Let's see this.
Okay. I'm ready.
But
Excited.
before I do that, that was a tease.
We have to,
Oh,
we have to wait, damn it.
Well, I want to take a moment because a couple days ago, it was our own Colt Badeau's birthday. Colt Badeau, who helps us out so much on Twitter. So I wanted to say happy birthday, Colt.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Colt Badeau.
birthday, Colt.
Everyone here at Popcorn Talk, thank you for your help, always keeping the Twitter up to date with the latest news. But yeah, we don't have time to get to everything. We're going to talk about a lot of this today. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew what was going on. So
Okay, I'm going to watch this with my
Ryan,
baby Yoda soup
can
right
I
now.
get a drum roll, please? I feel like you have that. Yeah, there we go. New Mutants dropped the trailer. Christian Bale is reportedly in talks for Thor 4. Scott Derrickson says Gugam is not in Doctor Strange 2. Feige says that the horror level of Doctor Strange 2 is not really that much. It's going to be kind of a PG-13, only a few scary scenes. Feige teased a trans character, but it's not coming. Kun says Yondu is not coming back in the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Ryan Reynolds acknowledges that Deadpool 3 is definitely coming. Sony says no comment on Spider-Man in Venom 2. Black Widow trailer to air on 1/13. Oh, I ran out of breath before I even got to Disney Plus news.
That was actually
That was
pretty
nice.
impressive, though.
I would have coughed after the first story, so well done, sir.
Yeah.
But more stuff. WandaVision will not be released in 2020. Audition tapes for WandaVision suggest Wiccan and Speed might be in it. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer is available on Disney Plus right now. Moon Knight might feature Dracula. Moon Knight might star Daniel Radcliffe. What If Season 2 is in the works. Runaways Season 3 is officially available. And we got some first pictures from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7.
Whew.
Wow.
If you understood any of that,
Yeah, there's no way we're getting through all that
buckle
today.
in for today's show.
Absolutely right.
But yeah, we're gonna go through the big stories from this, and I'm gonna give. I was the only one that had time because I was a little sick over the holidays, so I had time to watch all of Runaways.
Oh, wow.
This is the problem with binge shows, guys. I like. Disney Plus is doing it the right way. Weekly
Absolutely.
releases. I'm so happy to go back to that schedule. The Mandalorian and Watchmen happening at once showed me how much I loved weekly TV.
When you dissect, maybe not for everybody, but when you dissect TV and that's part of your job, abso-freaking-lutely.
But I'm gonna give like a spoiler Runaways take for like a minute or two at the end.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, no worries.
But that'll be at the end. So if you're worried, if you're still watching, I'll give you a fair warning. Let's talk about New Mutants, guys.
New Mutants.
Because we got another trailer for this movie that is definitely coming out.
Yeah, in just a couple of months.
Yeah, it's so close they almost couldn't push it back any further.
No.
Well, I think we've heard that before. If they really want to, they could. But I agree. I think it'll actually come out.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming out. So the news about it, they came. It's going to be rated PG-13. There was some thought that it might be R because it is a horror movie. But it's. I mean, look, you can do plenty of good horror at PG-13. You don't have to have gore to be scary. In fact, I actually feel like I'm more interested PG-13 version.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't care either way, but I've definitely seen tons of good horror movies that are PG-13. It definitely doesn't need to be R, but
look, there's been a lot of questions about whether or not this film has any chance of succeeding, and being PG-13, you're giving it a better chance.
yeah,
so
because more
I think
people
that's
can
fine.
see it.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's actually true anymore.
Yeah?
Well, I think look, Deadpool
No, you're right
and
about that.
Logan and all of these movies have proven that rating doesn't really affect the box
Right,
office
but people
the same
wanted
way.
to see those movies. This New Mutants movie, people are talking about. There's a stink about it.
That's fair.
I'm very excited about it. I think this movie needs a little help. They should actually cut it down to just a G, and that way you can bring the kids to it.
But how many people do you think are going to go watch New Mutants just to see just out of curiosity?
Chat, what do you think? Do you care? Are you more excited, less excited about PG-13? Zia, sorry, continue.
No, it's one of those movies that it's been going back and forth so much. How many people are going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go watch it just because I want to see how it came out, good or bad. Like I think that it's going to be better. I've been more excited. I've talked about how I've been more excited for this movie than I think most people are, just 'cause I love the idea. It's so cool, and it's going to be different. I think as long as they did a decent job, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So I'm going into it hopefully optimistic, but I wonder how many people are going to go in thinking, I just want to see what this is.
Well, I think now you have a contingent of people that go into every movie that they can't wait to see how terrible it is.
Yeah.
You know, and if you just think about movies just in the last year, it seemed
Cats.
like Endgame was the one movie that was kind of, it didn't have that. People didn't go and be like, yeah, it was terrible because, most movies are mixed, not 50-50 split, except Cats.
Christian and I saw Cats.
We saw Cats over the
break.
break, and I leaned into our other friend 2 minutes in and I was like, I need to see this again already. It's so brilliant, but it's because it's terrible, just in case you're wondering. But yeah, so
Just bring your friend Johnny Walker.
yeah, he was
you.
there.
So lots of alcohol is
he
what
was
you're
down-
saying.
yeah.
Maybe your friend Morgan or Jack. Like those guys are great company at Cats.
I don't think
just
that
saying.
the New Mutants movie is going to be Cats level. I don't think we'll ever see a Cats level.
Do you think
film.
it's going to be as bad as Dark Phoenix? I'm sorry.
No, I actually think. I mean, and remember, I didn't hate Dark Phoenix. I didn't love it.
either.
I feel like this is a better movie.
Okay.
I agree. Here's why. We know the backstory, like behind Dark Phoenix. There were so many extra voices coming in, and the studio being like, you plan to do 2 movies for this story, but you have to do it in one now. And the director just going, okay, I guess. And that's part of the problem. It was like that was art by committee. Was Dark Phoenix? It's why there are parts that are good. That's why there are parts that are bad. But New Mutants, we found out. Just recently, is now going to be the director's cut, the original director's cut. They didn't do any reshoots. I think Disney just didn't want to pay for them.
I 100% agree with that.
Because they're just like, we need to release it. At this point, we have to put it out. I'm sure there's contractual reasons that they have to put it out.
Right.
But they are going to release the director's original cut. So it is one person, not just one person, but it is the original team's creative voice that they were shooting for.
But this is what Josh Boone the director signed off on. I think this is what he wanted. And look, ultimately, I'm glad that that's what we're going to get. If it doesn't work, then, you can be like, oh boy, if only they'd spend a couple bucks on reshoots. But I'm glad we're going to see what they thought. At some point, somebody thought that this was a good enough movie to come out. It's just been delayed so many times.
I can't wait.
And in case those of you who caught our reaction video that we did, Zach was by himself, but Zia and I watched it together. I was very excited about it.
hurt by that.
Because,
It was on the way home
was
from
on my
where he
way
was
home from work.
working.
Yeah. But in any case, I was actually very excited about a lot of the imagery, a lot of the characters we saw, which I know we'll go through. And I think that this is a great trailer, and it has me excited for a movie that I was going to see it anyway, but I'm actually excited for it. And I'm looking forward to that.
So what was it that stood out to you guys in the trailer? And you can see that reaction video on
It's on Popcorn Talk,
Twitter.
yeah.
It's on Popcorn Talk's YouTube, wherever you want to go check it out.
I think that what stood out to me is, I mean, granted, this was just a trailer, but I think that they had enough of a budget behind the special effects that that's not going to be a problem, hopefully, because I've seen that before.
I mean, demon bears in this movie. I thought that we didn't know if that was going to be true. We saw cinematics. We're like, they're going to cut that.
Yeah.
Nope.
So I'm really looking
there's
forward to that.
Ryan's got a photo of this is the comic book version of Demon Bear.
Yeah, which is
So cool.
which is a great arc from the mid '80s. Chris Claremont, Bill Sienkiewicz from New Mutants, very easily found through various means. But yeah, I'm excited about that. What is that? What you're most excited about? I want to make sure you finish before I jump in with mine.
That, and I really like. I mean, I'm excited to see Maisie Williams because she was just so fantastic in Game of Thrones. So I'm excited to see her in a different role, just to start out. And this is the tone of the movie. I really like the horror idea. I think it's going to be different. I think that it's going to be something that we haven't seen before. So I'm excited. I'm just excited for all of that.
Yes, I'm excited for all of that, but the fact that we saw the Soul Sword, Ileana
I knew
had
you were
the
going
Soul
to say
Sword.
that.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what honestly, I didn't bring it up.
I was
I'm like,
letting you
I know
talk.
he's going to say
I
this.
was so excited by this.
It was amazing, and that's what I want to see. I don't know. Did anything stand out for you, Zach? I mean, you would have seen it just seeing her in general.
Yeah, well, this was, but not just seeing her. Like we've seen her in these trailers before,
that's fair.
but like I honestly I didn't know what they were gonna do for the sword, and we only saw this brief glimpse. And Ryan, I think you showed that photo earlier, but you could show that photo of an arm because this is the best screen grab I could get.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't sure how they were gonna do it because magic is. I'm always torn on her as a character because I love her character.
Right.
But with her and Wanda, the idea of mutants' powers being that they can do magic is like a weird. Like I think you're stretching mutant abilities a little
because mutants,
far.
it seems like it's almost based in science, right? Like it's a genetic mutation. That
Most
creates
of them
these,
are based in science in some way.
I see what you're saying.
But this is like where they're like, we just need a freaking magic user, but she's a great character, so I always feel weird about.
I'm not gonna lie,
torn on her.
it.
But I like the style that they used here to like have her grow out of her arm because that is like baked into her person now, as opposed to just summoning it like from nowhere. It like grows from her, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, that's gonna be so fun! You guys are making me more excited the more we talk about it. Honestly,
look, these are characters that I love. I mean, I grew up reading these characters. Some of them went on to do X-Force, but the New Mutants I thought was a great series. It was a very unique, offbeat take. It wasn't just like Junior X-Men, although there was a tremendous crossover. But we see Daniel Moonstar, Mirage. We see Sunspot and Wolfsbane. That's going to be Maisie Williams. And who I feel like because she's got a Scottish accent, right? So they're like, oh yeah, well you have to do it because the character's Scottish. So just actually seeing the characters on screen, and I know we'd seen, but that trailer was so long ago that I try not to think about it
But
anymore.
we're also seeing them in much more of a like these are the X-Men, like hear them not even necessarily using them in big ways, but using their powers. I mean, we got to see Ileana Rasputin open up a portal and drop from the sky.
And I remember her. She was in X-Men the Animated Series. She was in that show, and I remember seeing her in that. But they didn't do a ton with her character, so this is going to be really fun to see them actually explore that a lot more.
And I shout out to Sam Guthrie. I'm sorry I forgot to name check Cannonball, who is also in this. I don't want to leave out any of the New Mutants. There's other characters that are not in this movie, but it's great that they're all in here. But there was an analysis online that I saw. Somebody who watched the trailer closer than I did, that they felt a couple of times we saw some fire and a dragon outline. And if you remember the earlier trailer, young Ileana is holding a stuffed dragon, a purple dragon, who is, of course, Lockheed.
No.
Kitty Pryde's dragon. So now there's this notion of, Lockheed might be in this because, look, Kitty Pryde's not going to be in a movie for a while. as much as it breaks my heart. We won't see her for a while. But, he was very friendly with Anna, too. Anna and Kitty were best friends. So it stands to reason that Lockheed could be friends with her. So even if he's for like a second, to see Lockheed on the big screen, I'd be very excited.
Oh my God, can we get a dragon in this?
Right? Just get a dragon. Yeah.
So cool.
But like it's a little shoulder dragon.
That's
right?
He's great. No, he's
That's
awesome.
even better.
Even better.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I don't know. People in the chat tell me, would you be more excited if there was a dragon in it? Anybody who's maybe not going to see it. What if you found out there was a dragon going
Well,
to
there's already a giant bear in
that's
it.
true.
And so the demon bear, so like I guess what we're seeing in this trailer is more of like this sort of nega Xavier's school, if you will, because it very much it looks like it could be in upstate New York. Even though I will fight you over Westchester being upstate New York.
Westchester's not up. Is it? Is it?
It's a constant argument
people
for
who
people
are from
New
upstate
York.
New York will tell you that it's not. But
And people from New York City will tell you that it is,
Yeah,
and then
but it's
people in
the
Westchester are like it's not.
yeah.
It really the county's so big it's kind of divided.
And then Z will call it the best Chester.
It is
and
the best
Zach will get
Chester.
mad. So it's
Westchester, the best Chester.
It's a huge county. There are cows in the northern part and New York City in the bottom part. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
there's a lot. Anyway, but so it looks like it could be like near there, but obviously this one is evil. They have a force field around them. And like they're either studying these mutants or they're using them. We saw a graveyard with like numbers like up to like 130.
So they're experimenting possibly on these mutants and they're dying.
I think it's safe to say they're definitely experimenting.
And that was my one question when we did the reaction video. It seems like someone's offering a cure, and I'm like, why are we always trying to cure mutants?
I know.
The only person who I understand ever wanting a cure is Rogue. Everybody else, it's like, oh, come on. Wouldn't it be great to be a mutant? I mean, I guess Nightcrawler.
And Beast, like
and
they have
Beast.
their
Yeah,
reasons.
Beast has his moments. He's
Some
not
of
always
them-
blue and furry.
Some of the Morlocks, maybe.
All right.
He's not always blue and furry in like when they realized they could save money by building that into his character.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And because that and, Nicholas Hoult, everybody wants to look at his face. Let's be real.
I'm talking about in the comics, he's not always blue and furry. It comes and goes. Sometimes he's just
He's
regular
been
Hank.
blue and furry for a long time.
It switched a couple of times.
Yeah,
But I mean, once because he was such a better character, blue and furry.
Yeah.
I mean, So
honestly, it's one of my favorite parts of the original trilogy, like the original X-Men movie trilogy. Kelsey Grammer cast as Beast is just like
He was a fantastic
Chef's
it's
kiss.
so perfect.
Fantastic beast, yeah.
I read him in Fraser's voice now.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
whenever I read Beast, I
course.
hear Kelsey Grammer talking. I can't help it. It was such brilliant.
By the
Anyway.
way, direct response to my question: Langley M. Neely. Nah, Dragon does nothing for me. So all right.
How dare you?
No.
Wow, no, I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
No, here's the thing. The thing is, I really only care about Lockheed in relation to Kitty Pryde. So I appreciate the nod at it, but I
Sure.
don't need it in the movie.
Well, I don't want him to get 20 minutes of screen time, but I'd like to see him. So
Yeah.
I just want to see a little dragon on her shoulder now.
yeah.
But I am interested to see because Demon Bear. The main thing is that it feeds on negative, emotions
Yeah.
and thoughts and stuff. And
So it's like the opposite of a Dementor.
I think it's similar. It would be-
Dementors feed on happiness, and they make you...
I think it's like this. I think it's the same result, different phrasing.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
keep in mind when the movie starts coming out, if it has a really low tomato meter rating, the demon bear's only going to get stronger and he's going to come for you. So if you don't like it,
better
maybe
like
keep
it.
your mouth shut.
Oh
Just a
man,
thought. Just
if
a thought.
the demon bear got into the internet, it would live forever.
It would.
Demental.
Oh, okay.
That was fast. I love that.
Look at
Just
Ryan,
happened.
quick on the draw.
Fantastic, Ryan.
You're a Dementor.
No, Dementors feed on... They can suck your soul from... Gamer Girl, I'm sorry. Gamer Girl says, I thought Dementors feed on the soul. They can suck your soul from your body, but they feed on happiness and hope.
Yeah.
Which is why they send all the prisoners to Azkaban. I'm going to stop talking now.
By the
Oh.
way, Gamer Girl's just out on New Mutants. She just doesn't need
Not
horror.
into 'em.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah,
I'm curious
I get
to
it.
hear from more of you guys. Are you we're talking about there's some really cool stuff in here. I still don't know if there's if the movie is going to be good based on this trailer. I just know that it's going to have some really cool X-Men moments in it.
Yes.
That's the thing that I can see from this trailer. There's going to be cool X-Men shit in this movie.
Just think of this as one really long end credit scene after Dark Phoenix. This is our coda for the Fox X-Men universe.
Unless it does really well, and then Kevin Feige decides to bring them back as the first wave of mutants.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I wonder if it does well enough and people like it enough, if they're like, you know what? Let's make a second movie. Let's weave this into the universe.
If Marvel Television can tell us anything, almost definitely no.
No, probably not.
Doesn't matter how good it is, bad it is. This is it. This is it for anything. My like, other than Deadpool,
I was gonna say that there's
nothing from Fox's universe will survive.
If the movie does well enough, that's the one way I could see that we would get any of these characters is in Deadpool for some reason. You know. Maybe you see Ileana because you know Colossus will be in Deadpool 3. There's no way that he's not.
Now, I will say, just because this movie won't be considered canon does not mean that I do think Kevin Feige would be open to bringing these actors into the universe these roles down the line.
Just maybe reintroducing them.
Yeah, or just doing
movies.
I don't think Feige is afraid to just throw a character in and say, figure it out, and not worry about their backstory.
We've seen J.K. Simmons as a different J. Jonah Jameson now, so I mean,
that's what I mean.
Certainly,
I mean, that's its own case because no one could follow him.
Also true, but the fact that they did that, it shows they're open to the idea.
Yeah, and look, you have those if they're gonna do Deadpool, they can do different things.
Yeah.
To fold these universes, they can play. And there's all those rumors about Charlie Cox coming back to play Daredevil, and then are the Netflix shows canon and all that stuff. We'll have to see. I think at this point, Kevin Feige can play somewhat loose with it.
Charles Lee in the chat points out that somewhere Cap is shaking his head at Zach. Language.
I dropped it very intentionally.
I know.
I was doing it to make a point.
Cap is very disappointed in you. Think about how old Cap is now. He's even more disappointed.
Speaking of Kevin Feige and horror movies, I want to move on to Doctor Strange.
Good transition.
2. Because there's a couple news stories that I rattled off very quickly. Because Kevin Feige had said, sort of contradicted what we knew about Doctor Strange 2, in that he says it's not really a horror movie. It's got scary sequences.
Right.
What do you guys think of that sort of walking back of what we were told at Comic-Con?
So what I'll say that I like about this is that I think that they're going to sort of take the Marvel equation that has been working so well and just tweak it a little bit. I think that we'll get a little bit of Doctor Strange that we're used to, and then we're gonna see some scary stuff. I don't mind that. I think that's. I never really thought it was gonna be a full-on horror movie, to be honest with you, just because I don't know if that 100% fits in. But I think that it's gonna be cool to see some horror, some scary things and some horror-like things. And I think the director of this movie directed a lot of horror movies, hasn't he?
Yeah, Scott Derrickson is a horror guy.
So just the fact that they have him there, I think it might be a little bit more than we think, than Kevin Feige might be letting on, but I think it'll be a nice balance. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's going to be a nice balance.
Yeah, I think that they just wanted to make sure that people don't think this is this is going to be an MCU version of Saw.
I was just going to say
so
Saw.
I think that they're just it'll be a little bit scary at times, but I mean, most of the movies are PG-13, so it's not going to be really that much different.
Yeah.
But I think the idea that it'll have that tone and those moments, I think will make it stand out. It'll be unique.
I mean, look, I would love the MCU to push genre a little further than they have. I think they're going to need to in a post-Endgame MCU, taking any of these properties and going further into different directions so that these films stand more apart from each other than they have. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who feel that Marvel movies can be somewhat homogenous, and those of us who pay more attention are they don't all feel the same, but there is a consistent tone and a somewhat consistent genre, and the more they push those boundaries, I think the stronger the whole movie universe will be.
I agree, and having these different directors coming in, Taika Waititi leaves his flavor on the movie, and I think that maybe this director is going to do the same thing. I think it's just going to be cool to have different directors and different tones, and I agree. I like that.
Yeah. So, moving on, there's some comments that Kevin Feige, some other stuff from Kevin Feige over the break. He teased that a trans. This is an interesting story because he sort of teased that a trans character is coming to the MCU, and he made it sound. He never. It's like this is sort of the press taking a statement and blowing it up.
Right.
But he said, and I want to clarify if anybody heard different things over the break. He said that a trans character is coming to the MCU, and he made it sound like it was sort of coming soon, like in an in-production movie. But then they had to clarify it's not as close as that. It's nothing in production, but they do have someone in the works for some project.
I'll ask you guys because I don't know. Are there any trans characters in the comics that they can take, or are they going to create a new character?
Not that I can think of off the top of my Christian.
Well, there's one that I can think of, but I don't want to be wrong. So isn't
Everybody's
that
going to Google it.
isn't that I thought that America Chavez was a trans character. Am I wrong about that?
I think so. She is gay.
Okay, so maybe that's why
But I don't believe she is trans.
Yeah, no, she's just
She's
gay. Yeah.
gay,
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, that's the only one that I thought of. But
Okay.
as far as I know, there isn't. And whenever it happens, of course, my question is, are you going to take an existing character and make that part of their backstory, which, if you explain it away, there's no reason that it doesn't work, or is it going to be a new character? Like a new
Nicer
really
if it was-
important character.
Yeah, I think it'd be cooler if it was a new character because then I feel like it does justice to the cause more instead of taking something and be like, we're just going to change it. This is just kind of lazy. I think that if you want that, and it is important, and you want that there, I think that it's better to create a new character with that story.
Yeah, look, Marvel can do a lot more than they're doing, but they are making progress. I mean, you're going to have your first openly gay character or central character in the Eternals, and then it's apparently going to be a plot point in Thor 4 about whether Valkyrie coming being outwardly gay. She technically appeared first, but it was never commented.
It's not really been addressed.
Yeah,
in
but
any of her
that's the
appearances.
best way. Like
I
bring
agree.
it up as when it's relevant, and if
Yeah.
it's not, you don't need to talk about it. The character can just be the character.
Exactly, because anyway, never mind. I'm not going to get into it.
But yeah, but I hope that we'll find out more soon. But that was sort of the there's a story, and then everyone's like, there's not a story here. The press, 24-hour news cycle, all that.
Right.
But speaking of Thor 4,
Yes.
Thor, Love and Thunder. And I say that out loud just so Christian has to grimace.
It's not just me.
No, man.
Yeah, I'll get
It's
used to
so
it.
interesting. I'm looking at comments and stuff, and the people just are still going complete opposites.
I know, it's
as
so true.
you either love this title or
Yep.
you hate it.
Yep, I'm noticing that.
I freaking love this title.
not
It's
like
so
it.
insane. I just it sets the tone of this movie in such a perfect way. Anyway, the rumor is that Christian Bale is in talks to jump into Thor 4 in an unknown role. And it's a rumor. But it's decent sources, I guess, are coming out with it.
Yeah, let's see. Hollywood Reporter started running with it, and Deadline. There were others. It's not just the comic book. Here's an idea. Let's see how many clicks we can get. There were enough other sources that started saying, "Well, this might happen," that you feel like it's at least a conversation that's happening.
Yeah, look, there's some other ones Daniel Radcliffe is reportedly in talks for Moon Knight.
I love that so much.
I'm torn on it because I like the other ideas that they had, or the rumors that they were going to cast someone of Middle Eastern descent in that role. I thought was more interesting.
Do we know what his background is? Because I know he's British, but that
Daniel
doesn't.
Radcliffe?
No, Daniel Radcliffe's pretty white.
He is.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's Jewish or whatever, but
Whatever
white.
Paddington Bear and Peppa Pig are, he's the same. Okay.
Anyway, back to Christian Bale. Christian Bale's up for Thor 4. We don't know what role.
Great.
What do you guys think?
I saw a great theory.
Yeah. What?
And a suggested piece of artwork
Beta Ray Bill?
No, Mephisto. And I would love that.
interesting.
I hadn't thought of it, and I would give credit to the artist if I could remember what their name was. My apologies. They actually did a mock-up of it. I'll try and find it actually. So once I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all in on that because that would just be such a it would be such a departure from. Look, he's not. I feel like he's not going to play a quote unquote superhero. You know what I mean? He's like, well, I've been Batman, so I don't really need to do anything like that again.
It is interesting to cast Batman.
Yeah.
This will be the second Batman to come over to the MCU.
Adam West?
Michael Keaton.
No, I know.
Okay. For a moment, you played that pretty well.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it'd be really funny if they just if they put him in a villain role.
Yeah.
Only because the idea that they're going to consistently keep bringing over Batman to Ben Affleck would be next on the list just
Affleck's
to play
so excited, yeah.
Marvel villains.
Didn't-
Is
And they could get Val
great.
Kilmer and George Clooney. I mean, just look, it's going to be great. They're going to just get all the Batman.
Down for all that.
Clooney has got to be on their list. He might be they've also talked recently about a bunch of A-lists. Like Feige said, we've called a number of A-listers who turn us down.
Yeah, I mean,
can see
I
that.
went to that Q&A that I talked about in the fall, and they had apparently just had a meeting where they gave a hard sell to an A-lister who didn't want to do it. And, so it's, if we can ever get, even if it's not for decades, I'd love to know the people who turned down Marvel
Me
movies.
too.
Yeah, like I have to imagine they've approached people like
Yeah,
Clooney and
sure.
Pitt and those guys.
Tom Cruise. He's pretty expensive, though.
I don't know about Tom Cruise, but look, Tom. I want to cast Tom Hanks in something, but
That's
Be
true.
great.
Tom Hanks is also trying to get away from like characters.
All right, you just
Yeah,
gave
so
me the
anyway.
one scenario where I would ever want to see Peter's origin story, and that would be if Tom Hanks is Uncle Ben. If Tom Hanks is Uncle
Oh
Ben,
my
because he's been Walt Disney
God.
and Mr. Rogers, he should be Uncle Ben.
Except for no, I mean, look, you date Marissa Tomei and you date Tom Hanks.
Yeah, right? Come
Yeah.
on.
I'm just saying,
It'd
age
be
gap.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Either way. Anyway, so there's a bunch of options. Of Beta Ray Bill.
That's
Zia
one. That's
said.
the one that I've been seeing. I've been
I would
seeing
love
people
to
say
see
Beta
that
Ray Bill.
character regardless of who plays him. I'm ready for
It's
Beta Ray
interesting
Bill.
because do you pay for Christian Bale and then put him in a mocap suit? Technically, you pay for Bradley
I was
Cooper.
gonna say
Yeah.
they did that with Bradley Cooper, and well, I mean, they didn't really do that with what's his face. They just used his voice.
Who's that?
Vin
Vin
Diesel?
Diesel, thank you. His
Oh.
brain is name is escaping
Yeah.
my brain. But they did say in that article, right? I mean, granted, this is obviously all rumors, but the source also said that it seems like a pretty good guess that it's for a mocap role.
That might add up. I have my thought on this. I think we're going to see. I think he's going to play Dario Agger.
People have been saying
Somebody
that
said
a
that in the
lot.
chat.
A lot
Yeah.
of people
I didn't have the
said
chat
that
up.
in the
I just
chat.
had my Dario Agger
No,
stuff.
I
bunch
forget
of
now. I
people
didn't
said
highlight
that.
it, but I saw that. Yeah.
Dario Agger is, for those of you who don't know, he is a former bigwig like executive in the Roxxon Corporation who then turns into a Minotaur.
Which is awesome.
He makes deals with magic stuff, but he's also a major part of the first big arc for Jane Foster's Thor
Ooh.
when she took over, because she's fighting for environmentalism, and the Roxxon Energy Corporation, as you know if you watch Cloak and Dagger,
the exact opposite.
is like destroying the planet.
Yeah.
And this
oil rigs blow up all the time. Come on.
it's he's the perfect 21st century villain, and he's also very Christian Bale.
I could see that.
And
yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, Marvel lately has not had the most imagination when it comes to casting. Like, for example, the Black Knight.
Kit Harington.
Yeah, like they went, we need somebody like Jon Snow in this. Why don't we get Jon Snow? Okay.
I think Jon Snow's just happy to be in something else that's not, because since Game of Thrones ended.
Well, like him taking it, you could debate whether
Yeah.
he should have or not, but like, but that, like, they didn't go far from what people know him as. And so I could totally see them picking Christian Bale to play an evil executive. It's just so he's played that role a number of times.
Yeah, and he does it well.
He does it very well. And so doing that, and then he also just puts on a mocap suit and becomes a Minotaur.
So you get both. I mean, that's actually very educated.
It's also just feels like a Taika Waititi character.
And Langley Neely again in the chat says Bale as Dario Agger is perfect. It's like his American Psycho role, but with magic.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, and that's exactly how they.
I don't hate that.
I guarantee you, that's how they pitched it to him.
Don't
if
hate
this
that.
is the role that he's going for, so that's my pick. There's obviously a couple others. I still think he's wasted behind Beta Ray Bill.
I'm inclined to agree. I think you could see Beta Ray Bill in this movie, but why would it be
And I
Christian
think
Bale?
you could get better voice actors for Beta Ray Bill.
okay.
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill's also like, I'm sorry to Christian Bale, Beta Ray Bill's like a good guy.
Yeah.
And Christian Bale just doesn't have that good guy quality.
Not right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. Even when he's
Ever?
a decent guy in Ford versus Ferrari, he's not a bad guy, but he's still an asshole.
But that's who he plays.
Right.
It's like, and also if you've heard him yell at people behind the scenes via that leak.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we all have our bad days, but that was a particularly bad
really
one.
bad day.
Yeah.
And I just don't see him as like the guy who's so worthy that he can lift Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That doesn't sit right. Though I desperately want Beta Ray Bill in this movie.
I do.
Nadeem Sheik, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, says Simon Pegg as Beta Ray Bill is my first choice. Interesting.
That I would totally
perfect.
see.
I'm all on
'Cause
board for that.
There's
That's
a
great.
happiness and an excitement that Simon Pegg brings to it, where Christian Bale is like angry.
yeah.
And
he's
Beta Ray
angry.
Bill isn't supposed to be angry.
No. Oh my gosh.
He's the worthiest.
Yeah.
He's the worthiest besides Thor, and I guess Thor, Jane Foster.
Thor and Thor.
Yeah, it's the one thing like I appreciate the decision to just make her Thor when she became Thor, and not give her Lady Thor or Thoress or any weird title. Like she just is
Thoress.
Thor, but it makes it very difficult to talk about the two of them as distinct characters.
Ghost 8386. Christian Bale as Galactus would be perfect. So that's definitely thinking outside
I'd
the box.
seen
but-
that rumor too. That's a crazy swing.
I mean, I would certainly be entertained in watching him be Galactus, but it's hard to envision.
It's hard. Mainly, it's hard. It's not that I couldn't see him as Galactus. It's hard for me to see Galactus being introduced in Thor: Love and Thunder. Maybe if it's gonna be the way that we got like Thanos introduced, where it's gonna pop up in a
true.
scene and it's gonna be a thread that we sort of put aside for the next big Avengers thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they need to seed Fantastic Four somehow.
Well, there's a great real world comment in the chat that the idea of Bale as Beta Ray Bill doesn't make sense because you would want that character in multiple movies. And how many movies are you going to get Christian Bale in? You know, I mean, he did
Do
three
you
Batman
get Beta
movies.
Ray in multiple? I mean, he's a
I
good
would
character. I'm
think
just
so.
like, I don't know that you need
You never know when you're going to need
You
him
could
again.
pluck him for stuff outside of Thor,
Yeah.
but he's not as needed, I guess.
I mean, if Thor gets turned into a frog like I've wanted for every single Thor movie, you're going to need somebody else to pick up the
I'm
slack.
still hoping this movie is just like the hammer got shattered,
Yeah.
and then each one of them became a hammer unto itself, and so there's just different characters picking up Mjolnirs.
Perfect.
And that's how Throg becomes.
Is that what they call him? Throg?
Yeah,
That's great.
That's how he becomes Thor. Is he picks up a sliver of Mjolnir, and he's worthy, so he transforms into the Throg. I mean, there's also the version where Thor just gets turned into a frog.
That's the
which is
version. That's the version that I know, which is what this image is. That's Walt Simonson's artwork, if I've ever seen it.
But there's a-
anywhere.
but there is-
that's he gets turned into a frog, and then he has to regain his humanoid form.
Was it
But,
the Animal Avengers or the Pet Avengers that Throg was on?
Well,
where it's like it's not
I gotta
Thor,
read
it's a
these.
different character.
I only know him as that version is Thor got turned into a frog. But now Ryan is going very deep and picking all the frog Thors out there.
When
the
they
frogs out
did
there.
Secret Wars, the most recent
most
one,
one, yeah.
the Hickman
That's the
one,
one I read.
the series Thors, where they have the Thor Corps, which is like because they become the police of the world is all of the Thor Corps, and they all have different Mjolnirs, and so there is just like a separate Throg just like running around with all the different Thor. It's so good.
Just being a Throg
Anyway,
Thor.
lots of other stuff to talk about. The only other one I wanted to shout out, two ideas that I wanted to shout out. Hercules, I thought was a cool one.
That'd
I
be
like
cool.
that.
Idea.
I like that a lot.
I don't know that
actually.
Christian Bale is jacked the right way to play Hercules.
get jacked the right way, I
He could be
bet.
very muscular. Look, we all saw Batman. Like,
Yeah.
he's not that he can't be muscular, but I picture Hercules as more of a like rock type.
I mean, I would
where you're
picture-
like,
yeah.
how does a human being have that many muscles?
It's
Right.
definitely. I would imagine somebody from WWE would play that character, would play Hercules at some point.
And again, also Hercules, a very jovial guy.
Yeah.
Hercules is one of the most out bisexual characters in the Marvel universe, and so I would hope that they would. But again, just don't see Christian Bale fitting that particular role.
just
He's
physically,
a
it's hard to
fantastic
imagine.
actor, though. So
That's
you
true.
never know.
It's a great
You never
point.
know. And then I also put like, what if he's just a guy that Jane Foster is dating?
That would also
That
be
would-
super
like
funny.
That
all
would be
this
amazing.
stuff, and it's just like he's just a guy.
That I don't even see, unless he's like a Marvel fan we just didn't know about, but I almost wouldn't see him saying yes to a
No.
role like that. He'd be
No,
like,
no,
what?
but it would be funny.
It would be
absolutely.
really hilarious.
Anyway, need to talk about this if only briefly, but Ryan Reynolds did confirm. So Ryan Reynolds has confirmed as a producer and the star of, he is talking to Marvel Studios about doing Deadpool 3. They are actively developing Deadpool 3 for
Excellent.
Marvel. It's technically been rumors.
Yay.
We've been pretty sure of it up until now. But yeah, so there's that. Disney Plus news. Real quick, What If Season 2 is in the works. They are developing Season 2, so it's obviously going well. They like what they're seeing. WandaVision got an updated release date.
I heard that. Yeah.
it's this year.
It is this year. They just sort of just like, oh yeah, we're moving that. Here's our list of stuff coming in 2020, and they threw WandaVision in there, and all the Marvel fans are like, "Whoop."
I thought I was gonna have to wait till like 2021.
Yeah.
I'm so
that's what they said.
excited.
I don't know what this does to the Falcon and Winter Soldier release date.
Because all we knew about that was fall, right?
Yeah, they didn't say when in 2020 either of them is falling based on this new trailer, but I have to imagine they're not going to drop simultaneously. So I would look for one of them to come out in the summer.
I was kind of thinking that. I mean, I thought they were working on Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I thought that was coming out later. So
Falcon and Winter Soldier was scheduled for fall 2020.
Yeah.
WandaVision was scheduled for spring 2021.
So that would make me think Falcon and Winter Soldier would come out in summer, and then
Yeah.
WandaVision would come out in fall.
I have to imagine that they knew which one was going to come first
Yeah.
for story reasons. And it sort of makes sense based on Endgame being like the last big thing.
Yeah.
For these Avengers to catch us up with the Captain's America.
I like that, the Captain's America.
It's the title they didn't use, and I'm still mad. Anyway, so that's coming. An audition tape apparently leaked that suggested, based on some stuff, that we might be meeting Wanda and Vision's children,
Yeah.
Wiccan and Speed,
So interesting.
in this one.
Yeah.
So not the mini Visions that Vision had in his series that he built, which are like semi Wanda's kids, but not really. This is like their children, Wiccan and Speed, because twins run in the family.
Wiccan is who I said I wanted Daniel Radcliffe to play. When we were casting for that character, I was like, Daniel Radcliffe is Wiccan.
Yeah.
They'd be too small in this.
Well,
But
you never know. There's always time travel.
true.
I mean, it could.
She can bend reality. Who knows?
It would make sense that we would see their kids. From the little tiny bit that we know about what the story is, I think that she would push it further to the point of they have this idyllic sitcom family life, and then of course they also have kids. So,
Yeah. The
Yeah.
question is, I guess, just how much can she make real?
yeah,
Because she is one of the most powerful. Kevin Feige even called her the most powerful
yeah.
character in the MCU. Maybe like not necessarily with strength, but just pure power. She has access to things no one can imagine. She might be able to create just like people with a snap.
Real quick, y'all. When I was traveling back here, I was actually sitting next to an editor for Sorry for Your Loss, which is Elizabeth Olsen's other series. She's really good friends with Elizabeth Olsen. She was saying that Elizabeth Olsen is so excited about this series. She loves WandaVision so much. She thinks it's like one of the most creative things she's ever been a part of.
Awesome.
It sounds insane, and just based on the other stuff that the showrunner has done, like it's probably going to be super experimental.
Yeah.
And like the more weird stuff they keep announcing for it, like there's rumors of Sword being involved, and that's how we get Monica Rambeau, and then you have Nosy Neighbor. It's everything. This sounds batshit crazy. I'm sorry.
No, it does. But it's really exciting. It's so cool that we're getting so many different things.
Yeah. Okay. Moving forward, any other thoughts on that stuff? for WandaVision and its update.
Very excited for WandaVision.
Wait.
I said it really quick at the top. If you really, really want to watch Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer, it's available on Disney Plus in the U.S. now.
I'm gonna go watch it just cause it's been a long time.
Also, the first Ghost Rider is now on Netflix.
You're kidding. I'm gonna watch that too.
I watched that over the break. I didn't feel the
That's
need to
great.
watch Silver Surfer, but you bet I sat down and watched Nick Cage play Ghost Rider.
That's great.
And I guess the last thing to mention, I know you ran through all this, so we're going to get another, between this week and next week's show, there'll be another Black Widow trailer, right?
Apparently, well,
Yeah.
so not a trailer per se, some kind of new look.
Like a TV look?
TV look.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be on during some college football game.
You know what happened with the Black Widow trailer? So I went to go see the movie. I think I saw 1917. It was on Christmas Day. Fantastic movie, by the way. And they had a trailer for Tenet, and then immediately
David
after,
Tennant?
Yeah, David Tennant.
Okay.
Just
ahead.
a movie called
Go
David
ahead.
Tennant.
During the national championship.
I was gonna. Well, that's the next thing I was gonna say.
the
It's not
ESPN,
some
sorry.
college football game. It's a national championship game, so it's a good spot for it. But
So a
anyway,
lot of people will be
I
watching.
went to a small liberal arts college. I don't know anything about college football.
well, I mean, I went to. All right.
I didn't go to
any
college.
Anyway,
No,
so,
so I was watching, and they had the trailer. Christopher Nolan's new movie coming out, Tenet, looks so phenomenal. I'm really excited about it. And then Black Widow came out right after that, and it looked like a cheap imitation of a similar movie, and it kind of bummed me out. I was like,
no.
oh man.
well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe Natasha will win you back with this look that's
Maybe.
coming in
I
January.
do love her. So,
So, all right, as we close out, because we're running low on time, I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on Runaways Season 3. Did you guys get a chance to watch any of it?
No.
no, I didn't watch any
Why?
of it.
She doesn't want to watch it. I just haven't had the time.
So, I checked it out, and so I won't even talk to you guys. I'll just talk right to you
it's
guys. But Runaways this season was... All right, don't actually talk about other stuff, guys.
Sorry,
I didn't say a word.
It's not bad. It was fun. It's a little unfocused at times. The crossover took a lot longer in the season to get to than I was expecting. Cloak and Dagger don't show up until episode 8.
Crap.
And
Really?
and I thought based on all the trailers and stuff they put out, they were going to be a lot more integral to the story. And not that they don't affect things, but they almost like didn't need to be there. They're helpful, but like in a way that was like, oh, you want us to put them in the story? Oh, okay. Jimmy, and they sort of like they fit
Interesting.
them in, and it's not that it's not the logic fits, like, and it's kind of fun seeing them interact at
Yeah.
times. They do a little bit of the like hand holding of like where they both drop their origin stories on the
Sweet.
other ones to be like, and they're like, what? That's crazy. It's not complicated. Okay, it's complicated. It's cute. You got.
Does it? Let me ask you a question. You can obviously say more. Does it end in a way where you're like, oh man, I wish they did a season 4, or did you feel like they told their story?
I mean, there's more story that they were teasing.
Yeah.
So this is the weird thing to me. And again, big spoilers if you're waiting to watch Runaways. They ended the series on a random time travel episode.
Sweet.
Which was not really established earlier in the season. It just sort of happened, and it felt like they were like, oh no, we're probably going to get canceled. Do this, like, because this was our next season. It felt like they took their next season and condensed it into one episode and threw it at us.
Weird. Okay.
Also, just weird that how many things are doing time travel in the Marvel universe at the same time.
Anybody who watched The Gifted, in their Hail Mary attempt to try and get a season 3, there's a time travel element in like the last 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
I think that is basically, that's
I
when
mean,
you're
look,
like, people love time travel.
Like Legion, Gifted,
Yeah.
Runaways, Endgame, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s about to do it for their final
Yeah,
season.
absolutely.
This made me want to go make a graph of how long a sci-fi fantasy series can go before it diverts into time travel.
Look, even
because
Harry
it
Potter
has
did
to be
it.
like exponentially more and more crazy the longer it goes on. But like ultimately, like the characters are still good. Like there's a lot of great stuff in there. It's fun. I wanted a little bit more from the crossover, but look, we got some cool stuff. And I think that's gonna do it for this week's Marvel movie news because we're out of time.
We are out of time.
But we got to talk about a lot, even if we didn't get to everything. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at the Popcorn Talk on Marvel Movie News. We're going to be back every week again now that we are in past the holidays. It's going to be a blast. I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. Xia, where can everyone find you?
You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Xia_land. That is XIA_land.
I broke Xia.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ, and you can catch Xia and myself every weekday here on Popcorn Talk doing Marvel News Daily. And I know I teased this before Christmas, but we had to reschedule. But tomorrow, I will be doing a special Marvel TV Weekly with Xia, where we're going to speak with Chris Claremont, and I'm so glad actually we had to wait to do it now, because now I can talk to him about the New Mutants trailer, and I can't wait to talk to him about Star Wars as well, so there's so much to talk to him. That'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m., that's Pacific time, 2 Eastern, over on AfterBuzz TV.
Awesome. All right, guys, this has been Marvel Movie News. Thanks for geeking out with us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
Views expressed herein are those of the host only and not